chat. How's it going?
Ahoy.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go. Yep. I'm gonna be dropping a little bit of frames in the stream, but that's fine. It's life. Sometimes
That's just how it be.
yeah, sometimes your internet just be a little
Stinker.
silly, but that's fine. Hi, yeah, there we go. Hi chat, how's it going?
There you are.
Why is it called the devil when you oven hot bet food the devil of exactly.
That's how you don't do that. That's how you get the devil. That's a trick. They're tricking you.
That's like saying Bloody Mary 3 times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hello chat. Welcome to another No Jello stream. There's no Jello. But there is Arim and Will.
Yeah.
Ahoy.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't think I'd get the big guns for this, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really teeing us up, putting the pressure, putting the spotlight.
Yeah. Arim, can you be the new Jello?
I physically can't because there is no way I can do the amount of work that he does and live a happy and fulfilled life.
That's fair.
Yeah.
To be extremely straightforward about it.
Yeah.
No, I would not be
Jello's,
you, actually.
Jello's a bit of a maniac.
Yeah, we've been working on his next video. He got into his Toronto like apartment and then just like set up his computer, and then we've been like working on the next video for like 3 days straight. And I was working on it up to this stream, and even when I like was setting up the stream, Jello was like, "Hey, could you squeeze in a few more stuff?" And I'm like, "I can't. I'm sorry."
I don't know what that video is actually, so I'm curious what your active role is in the development of it.
For all of Jello's videos, I gather like footage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess. I thought maybe this was like he was editing a playthrough that specifically you two were in.
No. I for all of his videos, I gather like footage, audio, and a bunch of other stuff. For this one, it's just I think it's his anime opening video. So I've gathered like 200 plus anime opening footage of like various different like Japanese and English credits, like credit lists. Some stuff hard to find, some stuff easy to find. Yeah, like there's been a lot of gophering that I've had to do for that one. So, and still, but yeah, yeah. So, this is Of the Devil. It is a nice little indie game that Arim played and was like, "Hey, let's play this instead of like I don't know. We were gonna play." Like,
well, I might still play other things.
Yeah.
Let's keep it a secret for the people.
A surprise! I
might go back to that, but no. We had an original plan for what I wanted to be on this stream for, and then I guess about a month ago, I played this. It's a demo, or in the context of the story, it's basically episode 0 of this series. It's called Of the Devil. It's available on Steam. They're releasing it episodically, and episode 1 is due to be released soon-ish. TM. And I played this and I loved it, and I was like, wow, this would be a great thing to do for a stream, because the episode 0, it took me about 2 hours to play on my own, not reading dialogue, but I was reading all the ancillary text and stuff and stopping and thinking for a while. So I think it'll be short enough. It's a nice little self-contained story. And it's a cool game. I was very impressed by what they put together.
Yeah, people are still saying that the thumbnail is Road 96. And here's a little fun thing. It isn't on my end. I've changed the thumbnail, but YouTube refuses to change it apparently. So
the thumbnail looks like what it should be on my end and has all day.
Yeah, like it's this thing of where I think some people are seeing the wrong thumbnail and some people are seeing the right thumbnail.
Are you using the YouTube like A/B thumbnail testing feature to be like, what do people like more, the game title and everything, or the Road 96?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can fix that or not. Let me see. If not, then it is what it is. So
the 2.5D graphics are so charming. I agree. This game's got a very keen sense of visual style. It's most gameplay-wise, it's most directly comparable to like Ace Attorney, I guess. But it's very heavily stylized in a way, a little bit more like your Danganronpa kind of stuff. But unlike Bullets, this game has a different visual metaphor for all of its detective-y court stuff that you'll see.
Yeah. So YouTube thumbnail. I don't have AB thing. So you know, it is what it is.
Oh, that was a joke. I would have been shocked if you had somehow set that up accidentally.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. YouTube is like just like that. And just remember, YouTube is a funny little program. So if any point you go, wow, this game is cool, I've linked the Steam page in the pins and also in the description so that you can wishlist this game. Because believe it or not, wishlisting games on Steam is very important, especially for indie games, because it allows Steam to like show people their game more. Like, you know, the section in Steam where it's like popular upcoming. That's pretty much, I think, based off of wish lists.
You know the section in Steam where it's like Paw Patrol games?
Right, yeah.
I think that might have been how I found it, actually. It was not from a personal recommendation. It was either, it may have been social media, but it may have just been Steam being like, hey, you want another fucking Logic Ace Attorney ass fucking fixed murder game?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, actually I do. And so I played the demo for free and I was like, shit, dude. It was good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start the stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wow.
I'll, since I'm the only one who knows what's going on, if you don't mind, I'll assign parts because I feel like I know who is best for who.
Okay.
Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street. A slight blunting of the night's ambiance. It seems to me, Aloha, based on when I'm hearing the dialogue ticks, that there's a very large visual lag to when I can see the next line.
Okay.
Is that what?
Yeah, and I'm even clicking early. Let's see. Yeah, I'm having some really bad internet stuff. I'm dropping a lot of frames. I am. You know what? You know what I might do?
What's that?
I'm going to stop the stream chat for a bit. Don't panic. If people in chat go, "Whoa, what's crazy? What's happening?" Just know that I'm going to restart the stream. It should still be up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end stream, go live on YouTube. The VOD won't cut because it's still live on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you going live and switching, I don't think will break anything.
Okay,
So.
well, let's keep an eye on chat and see for some confirmation that we exist again.
Anyone up? We're on Arim's streaming.
I see. Hi, Arim. It's back. Now it's gone. Okay, it seems like it's on average back.
On average back.
Yeah. Okay.
Arim's streaming now. Good. Yeah, I restarted my internet and everything like that, and I was like, you know what? If I click go live and it messes up again, I think I'm gonna scream. So I'm just gonna pass it off to Arim because.
Yeah, this should be fine. So as you can see, in the couple minutes we were offline, we've beaten the game entirely, and we can New Game Plus.
Can you stream it to us?
Yeah.
No. Yes. Are you fucking kidding? Okay. There you go.
There we go. Behold.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. All right, round 2. Nothing bad happened.
Nothing happened.
Nothing has ever happened. Oh, that was weird. I blacked out for a second. Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambiance. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. The city's got insomnia with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. Ooh.
Morgan.
It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent or neon or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen, there's light shining on every last pixel of the map. Someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity, anonymity is scarce, and criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do until... my phone?
Aloha, do you just want to be public service announcements?
Sure. Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. ... You are expected at the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early.
I'll try. Looks like the paperwork came through. Nearly 3:15 now. 90 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are gonna get busy.
Oh. Vibe.
Vibe.
It's a vibe, bro.
Precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town. Nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a homicide. High clearance rates be damned. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. But whatever, if I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can't poke around and shake some change loose.
Oh.
So, we're gonna look at some shit.
Oh.
Yeah. User must look around for points of interest, and you can click on or press space to find them automatically. You'll earn credit for investigating anything and everything you can.
That's kind of nice if you're like, nah, I don't want to be looking.
Credit is both a measure of your information gathering skills and your own credibility. So don't go broke. Oh, I love
Very
the card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. Though museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. This homicide department's more like an attic. Hard to believe they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. Then again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formation is blah 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 blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel, and all during billable hours. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them.
Yikes, what a great place to be.
Yeah! The future! The future! The medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. There's a fun little side feature in this game. Anytime you see a purple word, they've added a search term. This is basically your world building codex appendix thing, but they've basically made it like an in-universe, what do you find if you search for this on the internet? And so you get these articles that will explain some of the world building that tend to end with like, We're sorry to see that you've installed a subroutine on this device to disable and highlight our recommended premium external links. We understand your drive for personalization, but unauthorized tech impacts our ability to serve you the best, most relevant information possible. Consider disabling your subroutines so we can serve you a more tailored browsing experience.
You get out of here.
It's very, very funny.
Mm-hmm.
I also appreciate that she has a keychain of herself.
Yeah, I'm not going to read all of these out loud because it's a lot of extra text.
Yeah.
But we'll read important ones if they're necessary for context.
Yeah.
Plus, you guys can get the demo right now for free, and you can read it.
We're not sponsored, but like, help indie games all you can.
Help them out.
Especially good ones like this.
Could probably null the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. But there's a few missing persons, too. 1 year of Silver Plan coverage, courtesy of Caduceus, as a reward for any... Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism so textbook it could teach freshman level architecture. You can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago, they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built. But walking in here now with crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness.
Read.
Data pad? I'll bite.
Ow.
Ow! Just picks it up, eats it. Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout corporate propaganda sort of way.
Keep an eye out for articles in the environment. They offer insight on the world around you and credit towards your investigation. Choose the proper takeaway after reading and you'll earn additional bonus credit too.
Ooh.
Yeah, they give you get a little bit of do we do that in here? Okay, here it goes. Yeah. So you get a little bit of world building to read, and then they give you a 1-question quiz on it to see if you actually fucking processed it. That's worth 1 little extra point.
Yeah.
So just to summarize this one, the subway tunnels, they were trying to fix them, but they decided, nope, we're finally going to pull the plug on this project. They were flooded, we're never ever going to use them again, because no one gives a shit, because now they've built all this walkway infrastructure in the air instead, called the canopy. And the guy who was sponsoring that project just got popped for financial corruption.
Oh, weird.
Oh, yeah, curious.
3,000% over budget? Oh my god.
Yeah. It appears...
Even...
Sorry, it appears you have 0 free articles remaining this month. Please verify your account information in order to continue reading the stories that matter.
Oh.
Ballsy of them putting the paywall there. As if I'd reach for my wallet after having to read a word like aesthetical. Besides, I get the gist of it. The takeaway is that the cities will be focusing its efforts on the canopy. There will be increased scrutiny surrounding the canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment. Not when Councilman Long's already thoroughly chummed the waters. Alright, I've taken in all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. Who wants to be this nice lady? She's only in this scene.
I can pop in for a bit.
Oh, booted up fine. So far, so good.
Good morning.
Morgan, here for the public defender contract.
Could you please provide your name and... Great. Please stand still for a moment.
I wouldn't call Intake Hollows charming. More like harmless. But that's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their text so long as it never speaks out of turn.
I'm sorry. I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth?
So far, so good, was it? Say, why don't you just scan my ID card?
Great! Now, could you just confirm your date of birth for me?
Why do they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damn ID card. And my profile.
Profile?
Profile.
Whoa, December 26th. Blood type AB. Likes puzzles, smoking, and wooden furniture. Dislikes commercials, hairdressers, and jogging. Talent, can fall asleep in any position. Coffee, decaf, drink. Whiskey sour.
Wow.
I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem. My birthday's...
October.
October 20th.
Yeah.
December 26th.
Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to Counseling Quarters 3C.
Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room?
I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards.
Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes a person feel, sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection, dully warped across gunmetal walls.
Morgan Counselor, can I help you with anything else?
Because of what you read earlier, you've unlocked additional question. Read and examine at every opportunity to build up your knowledge and get the most out of your questioning.
I know the city's not terribly concerned with the lower wards, but this is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty?
This facility is currently undergoing renovations.
Since when, the 60s?
It has been 22 months since the timetable was last updated.
They really don't see a lot of action around here, do they?
I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered.
I'm adaptable. What about you? They ever gonna fix that crack?
Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work.
Well, that's all that matters, right?
What are you?
What the hell are you?
What are you?
I'm a smart user interface, proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I could send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Should I send you a link with information about our subscription packages?
No. Sorry. That was a mean question to ask. That'll be all, thank you.
You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office through the door on your right.
Thanks. But I think it's just me for now, so you could go on break if you like.
Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan Counselor.
Then what were you doing before I walked in?
You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office.
Through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway.
A cave opens.
A cave opens. So there's two detectives. There's an older, calmer, scruffy man and a younger, eye-patched, angry woman. I'm thinking Will and Aloha, respectively.
Yeah.
And I think
Sure.
this is the angry one.
So am I angry one?
Wait, no, I'm angry.
Yeah.
one.
So I
Okay.
think Aloha
got
for
it.
this one.
Eyes gone bad or something?
Voices coming from down the hall.
Compared to yours, probably.
Thank God I stopped for directions. A building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly low energy. This is you, Will.
This is me.
Yeah.
Appreciate you worrying about me. God forbid I try to be serious.
While the other rings with youthful indignation. This is Aloha.
Okay. It's not like our job is important or anything.
Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex.
'Cause why else would you bother to print all that out?
One document or 100 looks the same on a data pad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their
big brother.
I wasn't going to say that.
So how many of those sheets were blank then?
No red carpet tonight, officers?
Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway.
But mostly cheaper. You the lawyer?
I am Morgan Esquire. Pleased to meet you.
Same here, counselor. I'm realizing now that
It's not too late to recalibrate if you want to. You didn't know what he looked like until now.
Right. Kasim London.
I don't know for sure. It's probably Kasim.
Kasim London. And the ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farah Reyes.
Ball of sunshine?
She certainly is.
Huh?
Sorry if you were kept waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night.
It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette.
Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80?
She can't be more than a few years younger than me.
We're the detectives in charge of this particular case. And it looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department.
I love that everything sucks in the future except people don't smoke anymore.
Apologies in advance for the cobwebs.
Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. Never struck me as more than just some old-timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene.
No, we're not nearly that timely. Uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes.
Calls, plural. Must have been quite the commotion.
Look around. You think we're the first to arrive for anything?
She's not wrong. We were only tapped after circumstances at the scene indicated an involvement with an ongoing investigation.
Our ongoing investigation.
Not very subtle, is she? But I may as well bite at this point. So you suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity?
Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. A fair warning, yeah? That's the heartbreak killer in that room.
And we've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass the shitstorm on to some other night owl and go back to bed.
I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer?
They cover utilities at the rock you live under?
Is there a problem?
You're seriously not familiar with HK?
Never heard of him. Oh, I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks. Their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners, in the media, on the net, Everyone's indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. When it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender?
Was it the killer part that tipped you off?
You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy with it.
Along with everyone else.
One bullet straight through the heart. Body left to lie where it falls.
Hence the name Heartbreak. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps originality.
What, you won't read about online? Is that all 6 HK victims were shot by the same gun? Without even needing to reload?
Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? That's pretty good shooting, isn't it?
Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is a good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. Shooting 6 people with accuracy like that,
It's a whole different beast.
it takes a certain kind of monster. A real freak.
Ooh, a real freak. Let's find out about them.
Freak.
Love this.
Criminal.
Occupation: criminal. Likes killing. Dislikes getting caught.
Fave color,
Probably red.
Probably
the
not.
astrology. Suspended due to the influx of false reports.
We've also got our detectives here.
Yeah, rice limes on a food history.
Just like small plates.
I
get
feel
her.
that. I get it.
Oh,
Finally,
she got
something relatable.
She got an A- on her blood.
Thank you.
His pulse probably didn't even rise.
I see. You almost make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that...
No, it's not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madam.
Of course, my mistake. So all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling in police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky, I guess they're all firing blanks.
Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they have been for decades. But they don't commit murder.
Right.
Evil like Heartbreak is all organic.
That's a pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders.
Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5.
Pardon?
You're still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago. When we caught the son of a bitch red-handed.
So you're convinced that my client is this heartbreak killer, and tonight was just his latest crime? That's a serious accusation. Very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up?
I was
That's you.
being literal, counselor.
Hmm?
Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood.
Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling.
That lawyer talk for open and shut?
But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders?
It's all there in the discovery files, and the arcs, of course.
What the fuck's an arc?
Normally it's like the narrative path of a character.
Yeah.
Augmented reality crime scene. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
It's basically, you remember, you remember
Kay's little,
fucking,
like-
yeah, Kay Faraday's stupid fucking thing.
But like, this is established and makes sense.
Yeah, no, they put these together, to cut it short, they
develop them for each crime based off of a synthesis of all of the different recording devices and metadata that was available at the crime scene. And because everything's being filmed from so many fucking angles all the time, they can pretty much just 3D recreate it quite faithfully.
Cool. Yeah.
Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need.
I'll bet. Thanks for that, Detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, could I ask you two some questions while I've got you here?
The hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives?
This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant.
Come on, Sunshine. Not like we're going to be punching out anytime soon, right?
Whatever. Let your client stew in interrogation all night, for all I care.
You mean the counseling quarters?
We're at your disposal, counselor.
Observe.
Loose wires, missing panels, an aircon system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. No room in the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? I expected to find a lot of belt tightening at Homicide, but I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. They've got a stunning clearance rate, and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy, what with our dear, doting surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. The dumping grounds for the police force's most unambitious and least popular.
Hey, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. The fuck did you say about me? Barren, stark, and uninviting. Oh, this must be Reyes's desk. Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mode of personalization. Is she so new she hasn't had time to unpack? Or is she really that uptight and boring?
Oh.
Both, maybe.
You're lucky that's inner dialogue, bitch.
You shouldn't have cleaned up so much just for little old me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system. Or even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. And he doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in paper, I'll give him that.
Read.
Oh, yeah.
Give a warm welcome.
Yeah, so the Noble Corporation has released a new generation of these worm androids that are designed to, like, look quasi-lifelike, even though they came out and people were like, no one's gonna want this fucking Uncanny Valley shit, and then, they were wrong. Hey, fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put your account info in so we can help you keep reading?
This really is the future.
Yeah, no, I'm really feeling this.
This is right now. Hey, fam. Turns around chair.
Yeah, no, it's very Leah spins around chair.
Let's wrap.
Let's wrap.
He's in the news again. It's no wonder it can't spit without landing on a piece of noble tech these days. Especially not where the state's involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids, though. For government use, they're just too frail compared to the ones that are just robots. All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they're directing traffic or suppressing crowds. So if these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek, just an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen. Okay, nothing else jumps out at me around here. I've got a better idea of who I'm dealing with, at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. Should have been sent a link.
You've been granted access to state files regarding case KL4335511. Reply C to confirm.
Confirm.
Wow, you need to reply C in order to confirm.
Am I talking to a person?
I am an automated dependent.
Ads are usually more polite.
Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences.
So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian.
You need to reply C.
C.
Capital C. God damn it.
It's case sensitive.
C.
Thank you.
Bitch.
Link.
All right, if I project from my phone. Cube.
Welcome to Meta.
Oh, it's a portal, dude. This thing's down. Anytime there's a portal, like it just like never works, man.
Just not gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna happen. Oh, so we can just see the crime just anywhere, and it's just like, okay, that's neat. I like that.
All right, let's see what the police have, let's see what the police have, and what they think is important.
Oh, well, there's
Boom.
an
The
outline.
victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta. Single gunshot wound to the heart. In brief, death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. Blood spatter, forensics, and all that other good stuff tells them that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired.
God.
The murder weapon, a revolver found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing. But all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement.
Oh.
No, we got this.
A stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here. It was hit hard. Hard enough to come unattached from its arm, while shards of glass were scattered, far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point, and yet there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable.
Could
Isn't
be.
art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. It's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. But no signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair that got thrown and whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris. Flag as irrelevant. That's their technical assessment? Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay. That's everything that the police highlighted. But did I miss anything?
Is that a thing on the head?
Oh yeah, let's just wrap it up.
Yeah, fucking
All right. My
whatever.
client, he did it.
He did
You
it.
did it.
I actually... Oh.
The hell is that?
Something in the victim's hand. How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. It's like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and Treprexosone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication. Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. The autopsy said her tox screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and it still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant.
That pill holder was awkward, bro. You might pick the wrong day if you're not careful.
I was gonna say, oh, this looks cute, but then the Tuesday and Thursday are right next to each other.
Yeah,
like,
they're
ooh,
yeah,
that-
and both tea, I think. I was like,
yeah. Also, Lily, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
Everything else here is all very incriminating, but the kicker's everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs.
Crumbs.
What the hell are crumbs?
What the fuck are crumbs?
Sometimes when you eat a sandwich,
So, in the future, the Internet of Things is like fucking everything, everywhere, all the time. Just like that movie. And all the devices are constantly beaming
I believe they're called crumbs because it's the diminutive of cookies. So basically, if you go anywhere with any kind of device on you, you leave a track that can be traced by any electronic device you pass.
Yuck.
Yo, everything got street pass?
Yeah. If you walk around with your DS, you can level up your badges and the world ends with you, so it's not all bad.
The Nintendo.
Yeah. Not interested in sponsored search results? See further with a premium account.
Wow.
I straight up canceled a pickup order for a restaurant because they're like, you need to log in to place this. I'm like, I can't just be a guest. No, I'm never going to your restaurant again.
Install our app to view the menu.
Yeah, it's like, no.
Nothing that points toward anyone except my client.
Us.
Well, I've done more with less before, but not much more. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time. Better get Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is... I suppose it could be something important. Okay, very important that you play the other half of this conversation, Aloha. This is a future Zoomer.
Red!
What couldn't wait till morning?
Good news, of course. I got a job for you.
That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole.
Lol, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and a phishing scheme.
I like the little wiggling.
I need you to sue my gym teacher.
What?
Not that kind of lawyer, sorry.
Hey, at least let me finish.
What did they do?
Make me run laps.
Not illegal.
Let me finish. It made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomachache.
Said.
Gotta be like youth endangerment. Depraved indifference or some kind of shit.
Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time.
What's with the blow-off?
Nice phrasing.
Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See?
Is that your mugshot?
I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction.
Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so...
Anything cool?
Homicide.
I'm working. Go to bed.
Ooh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK?
Is that the kind of morbid thing kids your age talk about?
Teens my age. And yeah, we can read. Compared to that corrupt shit in the headlines. Old-fashioned murder like Hardy B is like quaint.
It's not heartbreak.
Then why'd you take the job, lol? You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something. You taking up lost cause, probe nose work?
It's pro bono.
That was autocorrect.
You know they give lit homework for a reason, right?
This is borderline concerned nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker.
I'm not a sucker.
Nice phrasing. Lol.
You should go to bed, Fran.
Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want.
Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday.
Yes!
What's with the Carby DM shit?
This chick gets it.
It's nearly 4 a.m., kid. You've got school in like 3 hours.
Shit.
Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure.
Important text message, I take it?
Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Androids and cops!
Android cops.
By the way, I couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff.
It's 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade?
I thought there'd at least be a few androids around.
Aren't many androids in any police station this week. Not while the brass is renegotiating contracts.
Contracts with Noble.
Good guess.
Hardly. They're the biggest...
Hardly. They're the biggest robotic corp there is. Could spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow.
Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here.
Saves us some money on shipping, at least. But these talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month.
Even with Noble pushing those warm androids?
Warm, yuck. Might as well call them adult line.
Might see them in the bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet.
Yet. You really think that'll happen?
We already use ads for patrolling, securing the scene, pacifying crowds. Doesn't seem like that big a stretch to me.
You're joking, right? Android detectives? With all the pain we go through getting witnesses to talk to us?
With your worm personality? I can't imagine.
The cop knocks on your door, starts asking questions, you're gonna be put in a bad mood. An ad knocks on your door, calls you a degenerate criminal in a synthesized voice loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. You're gonna start posting shit that will get you put on a list.
Well, we certainly don't want that. But flesh and blood witnesses are becoming less and less common anyway. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already get all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years, it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too.
The union would. The police union wouldn't let that happen.
She needn't have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore.
Oh no!
Oh, God.
It is right now!
So how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with?
Your client, Carlos Baker... Backer? Probably Backer.
Backer, probably.
Yeah. Carlos Backer Flat was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m.
Carlos, his nickname, Kickstarter. Carlos Kickstarter Backer Flat.
This guy rules.
Using his middle name already. They really do think he's a serial killer.
The charge being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn.
First degree. That's...
increasingly rare.
to say the least.
It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people. So you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder.
Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him?
5 times, and that makes him insane.
I was going to go with extraordinary.
Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nut jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated?
How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up?
A warm-up?
5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. Nothing.
So this serial killer chose his victims at random. If they have nothing in common...
Yeah, nothing in common at all. Other than they all look like cousins.
The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes, about the same height, comparable weight.
Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be...
A coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You're really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance?
Young woman. Brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take the hint. So you think what exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first?
Hey, if the shoe fits,
If the shoe fits...
then you put on the shoe.
What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences.
Drifters, loners, strangers, workers.
He was probably building up the nerve for tonight by first practicing on these other similar women.
Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore.
It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd have been signs of hesitation, nerves, there'd have been mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal. Execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me.
Hey, what was that?
I saw the time
You
of
good?
death. You good, bro? I saw the time of death was 9 p.m. on the autopsy. But do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events?
Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth. But we've managed, thanks to less biased sources.
And we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements.
So they interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work.
The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 p.m.
Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us all about the happy couple's
Wait.
domestic problems.
What the fuck's up with her eye?
Yeah, she got a robot eye.
Oh, okay.
Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks.
As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle.
I assume she's projecting that little thing from her
Yeah,
eye.
from the eye. Yeah.
Furniture turned over, glass shattered. But things go quiet sometime before 9 p.m. And then, there's a gunshot.
Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp.
So they're sucking in all the data from everything
Yeah.
and then trying to filter it down to get the relevant stuff.
Yeah. But we heard from enough concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time.
Right. Emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was. But the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming.
Officers arrived on the street at 9:08 p.m., established a perimeter, and entered through the open front door at 9:10 p.m. And then they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood. At which point they moved to secure the scene and the suspect.
Sorry, did you say his hand singular?
Your client's modded cybernetic right arm.
How modded are we talking about here?
Registered with a HOW 85 habilis, industrial grade looks like. Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 KPA, which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Considering a career change?
No, it's not that. It's just your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. And here I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion.
You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable?
I actually thought the same thing the first time we met.
You what?
But getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. He can't work without it. Money got tight.
The arguing.
Yeah.
When did he put his arm in for repairs?
8 days before HK's first victim was killed.
Well, no chance they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence.
Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver. And no one else's.
A revolver? What kind?
The old kind. The real old kind.
More specifically, a Calver M54, 6-chambered, 10mm.
Calver? How retro.
You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags.
No tags. How is that? Just how old are we talking here?
Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safeties coded to owner biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous.
So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes?
How else do you think he would have gotten away with it this 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail the very first psych check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawals set in.
So then M54, that's
Model year 2054.
a 30-year-old gun. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it?
In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets.
The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old, too.
The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. But now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good.
Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with the protocols they found, the tech were able to match the rifling marks of all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with.
Rifling marks? I remember those from Ace Attorney.
Bullets fired from guns that old are marked by the bullet or the barrel shape.
So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks...
We know that they were all fired by the same gun.
It's not as plug and play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And, if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber.
Without even needing to reload.
The Calver your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that.
An untagged gun. Just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize, then, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then he retrieved this weapon and shot her.
Yeah, pretty much.
How did he look when the officers found him?
Guilty.
How was his effect?
Quiet. Detached. Stiff.
Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner.
That reaction may have lost him points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. And so long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. Ooh, what was our purple we just got? Heartbreak killer. Hey there! It looks like you're trying to search a term that relates to an ongoing investigation. Until authorities have made their findings public, results may be heavily curated or temporarily unavailable. Read more about how we cooperate with authorities to combat misinformation here.
Wow!
Boy. Hooray!
Hooray! The less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story.
Yeah, top 11 theories of who hurt HK was a real weighty read.
It's not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks.
Can you blame them, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with...
We know what he's gotten away with.
Take a look around us, Detective. National DNA registries robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crime at an all-time low and clearance rates at all-time highs.
What? You're gonna spout some bullshit about invasion of privacy?
No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So, when someone like Heartbreak does come along...
Good point.
London's trying to look like he can laugh it off, but pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged, and that makes them predictable.
Hey, you good?
Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details.
That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get.
But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place.
And why is that?
Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system. What is that?
What the hell is that?
The fuck is that shit? I love the idea that she's like, hang on a second, hold up, I gotta Google something.
Did you just pull out your phone to Google that?
So basically,
No.
this is a public-private partnership where all the private companies voluntarily share all of the data they collect with the government.
Great.
Dude. Yo, this game got its own case laws.
Yeah, serves as key evidence in criminal proceedings where it is considered admissible by default. See People versus Irawan.
Yeah.
All right.
Love
I remember
that.
that case.
I remember that case.
How is that even possible? I know that there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once?
You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did?
I understand your concern, ma'am, but Optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance systems signing up to feed into the state security network. It's not perfect, just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt.
It's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to help us solve crimes. Or at least act as a deterrent.
One would hope so. Fat chance. Deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions.
It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it. But it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved. But the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict.
I see.
But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning.
They'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. His file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation and not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city?
HK's only ever struck at times in locations where optics would be down. Even with the devil's own luck. It can't possibly be coincidence.
Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed?
Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. And it included the areas surrounding the victim's apartment.
Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match?
There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes.
No footage and no forensics.
Also, no motives, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't have a murder weapon.
Until now.
Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue.
Scanners, cams, drones, forensics. No matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. The only reason we even caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along.
So, was my client on the list of suspects before tonight?
Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects.
We questioned some X's, a few CIs, someone even spoke to one or two unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with.
In other words, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think?
Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly gonna have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt.
And why is that?
Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk.
Dude, this guy's screwed.
Well, that's, unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me that he wrote a confession? Has it been verified?
Not yet. We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of the line.
Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints.
There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you, it doesn't exactly make for light reading.
I'll have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself. Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not, want any of it to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't, mean to at first. But I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough, I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me.
Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
That was difficult to read. Barely legible, in fact.
Well, got a spin on that?
No need.
But it's a confession.
Not a confession that he's signed, though, is it?
Not yet.
And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation.
Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer and got you. Guess you're both lucky.
Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he?
Look, Counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual. And that's for your safety as well.
It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger.
He's killed 6 women.
None of them were redheads! Seriously, though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off, if you don't mind.
Huh.
Mic's on or off is your call, Counselor. but we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff, that is, stays on.
That worried about me. How chivalrous.
Yeah, my armor's practically blinding.
Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle.
Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I'd suggest you help him sign that confession.
Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show, detective.
I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime, if there ever was one. And even if the death penalty's not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not going to like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's...
being challenged before the Supreme Court.
Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from... well, that's probably a win for your client, right?
Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. Saves the courts a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the heartbreak killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life.
Oh.
Wait, if you read it backwards, it says Doom!
But
Megan's meat.
Megan's meat!
But the M was sideways, so it's Dewey.
Dewey! So this is the last major character, and he's gonna talk a decent bit. I think he looks more Will, but who wants more reading versus not? Do either of you have a preference?
I don't care either way. I can voice this guy since you've got Brat.
Yeah, you go crazy, Will.
Okay. It's depressing as hell in here. They need to liven this place up. Carlos Flat, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover, but this shouldn't take all night.
What are you... Look, I already told you people, I didn't...
I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. Your lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you.
Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there, in here, kept repeating it the whole ride over. They said that they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. Then they said that I killed. Acting like they were on my side, and they thought that I could have...
It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine. And I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, I'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions.
The police already...
Questioned you, I'm sure. But they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client.
Okay. So, what do you want to know?
You know, let's start with some light conversation instead of just being like, "The fuck did you do?"
Yeah, so your girlfriend's dead, idiot, huh?
Yeah. So, you're like single now?
Yeah.
That's exciting, I suppose.
Let's start simple, something mundane, grounded, or rote. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like, what line of work are you in?
I'm with city engineering. Or I was, or I should be.
As I thought, the police must be convinced that he mapped the optics blackouts using data he stole from work.
My arm, I got it slotted for the job. And,
Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? He works in city engineering, not a desk job. Reyes said he was modded for work, and that arm must be in custody at the moment. But based on his shoulder, it'd have to be pretty utilitarian. Yeah, he doesn't strike me as the type who's enamored with the aesthetics of modding. The young and the restless and the rich swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks, or the way it makes other people start looking at them. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted to mod.
really?
Really? I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out. Whole career path of promotions and bonuses and the upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present. Test results, politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate.
That sucks.
I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest, like he was glad that he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think it does. I always figured if I start at all, I'd start small. A hand or an eye. Test the water. Never thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was...
Slight note for the developers here, it's actually lopping. Lobbing your whole damn arm off would be if you swung your arm so hard that you flung it off of your body.
Okay, Arim.
Hey, just helping. Enthusiastic. He said, because of the NCDA, there was financial aid and resources. Of course, that got shit-canned, and now me and every other modder is royally screwed. Couldn't even let me keep the tax credit.
The new Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed, but I doubt he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment.
I worked the tighter spaces, the high-volt environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know.
He's speaking freely now. Don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him talking. But the right word choice here or there can still make a difference. You work on the canopy. You must be under a lot.
When you did the correction,
Mhm.
I was just thinking about them, like, instead of fixing it, just having her correct it.
Yeah, just add that. Amendment to my previous developer's note. Keep the original line, but have her be a grammar pedant about it. That way,
Thank you kindly.
she can be even more the insert for gamers like me, grammarian gamers.
You must be under a lot of pressure now that the subways are cordoned off.
Damn straight. And this crap with...
Long.
And this crap with long? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Long,
that's
okay, the name.
that's the corrupt politician.
Got it. Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desk job in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that internal affairs is going to come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving.
Someone in chat asks, does this demo have a solve? All I will say, this demo tells a complete story.
No room for engineering.
Yeah. And no patience for screw-ups.
He's trying very hard not to look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing your prosthetic right now, Carlos?
Yeah, that. Rejection issues starting last month. A lot of sleepless nights.
Rejection? Did the therapy not take?
It's not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything.
Then do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scars?
Not in the way you're thinking.
Hmm?
I'm right-handed.
So those cuts on his face are just from shaving.
Never thought this would go on so long. I'd have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small. Trembling, but then spasms. Just oversensitivity, they said. An easy fix.
But the problem got bigger.
Couldn't let it get that far. Need to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site. Drop a cutter at the wrong moment and people could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, turned in my arm, and watched my case get placed at the back of the damn line.
Where did you turn it in?
Some mass turnaround chop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't.
So it doesn't sound like you're a happy customer.
Hell no! I'd have found a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning...
The manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance.
And that's why I'm sitting here with this expensive-ass stump for a shoulder. I haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might still be there when I've got 2 working arms again.
You couldn't buy or rent a replacement yourself just in the meantime?
I serve at the pleasure of the states. And they've got exclusivity contracts with Hindi. All locked up white-knuckle tight.
Hindi? How Industries? As I recall, he's registered with one of their Habilis models.
If I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fines, I'd lose a damn payment and my arm. And I'd never work in the city again.
I like this aspect of his backstory because he did exactly what you would want any responsible person to do and didn't just say YOLO and continue working with an arm he thought was slightly malfunctioning, and he got 100% dicked over for being conscientious.
Yup.
No.
If this was the last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with management, but like I said, no one's sticking their neck out for anyone now that longs in hot shit.
You mentioned discomfort. Are you in pain?
Pain will come and go. It's the itches that'll kill you. And the phantoms come back pretty fast when I don't have anything. Arm shape attached to me.
Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something the clinics lend out for cases like this?
What they gave me is a deadweight, 3-jointed landfill bait piece of shit. Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling. Having a part of your body that you know they cut corners on. It fits. It's compatible. Technically. I can slot it in and feel on balance again. But the fingers don't even bend, and the quick twitch monitors are way off. Motors. It's like walking around with your arm asleep, or dead.
So were you wearing it when...
Let's not say she died.
Yeah, when you were arrested.
Were you wearing it when you were arrested?
No, I wasn't. But I'm pretty sure I saw the police bagging it as evidence, so... Can't have gotten too far.
So, Detective Reyes was being quite literal about how he was found. He had the victim's blood on his left arm only, because at the time in question, he didn't even have a right. No inconsistencies in the story so far, and he's opened up about as well as can be expected. But this has all just been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part.
Yeah.
Hey, you good?
Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other?
Right. I've known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends. Always got along. Eventually, we just got together at some point. Guess I never actually asked her out the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly saying it out loud. Diane, she was, in genetics, focused her studies on agriculture.
It always takes them a few tries to get used to using past tense.
Just finished her post-grad work this year. Got hired right out of the gate. Practically headhunted, you believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course she was. Any company'd be lucky to have her. I'm like... It was a real-ass job. Paid real-ass money, too.
So her career was starting to pan out, right as yours had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired?
Pedigree. No, Perigee Laboratories? I say that like the name matters. The whole setup's under Harco's umbrella.
That doesn't narrow it down. The Harvest Corporation grows a third of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. Now, no corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting, but Harco's about as unsexy as big business can get. Predictable like the seasons. No one's gonna buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Well, had she adjusted well to her new job?
Yeah, they loved having her there.
She never mentioned arguments or disputes, corporate politics getting rough.
I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that she'd... Look, no one I know could do this to her. And there's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her.
It was a long shot, hoping for a disgruntled character from our past to shift blame onto. But with no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I'll have to disprove their argument entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful.
It was?
Now, I'd like you to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight.
Oh,
Start at the
You mean
beginning
yesterday?
and take your time.
yeah, actually.
The details
You're
are
right.
important.
All right, miss.
Morgan,
I'll try Morgan.
when you're ready.
We were arguing. We had been arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. I haven't been working. Haven't been making money. Haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself, but more than that, I was jealous of her. Jealous over nothing. Jealous over goddamn money.
Reports say you were arguing around 8 p.m.
8? Yeah, must have been when we started. We got into it, and I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have. And I said one thing that I really, really shouldn't have. I'm gonna kill you. I crossed the line, and we both knew it, so I left.
You left.
Yeah, I walked out the front door. Thought some fresh air might help me cool off. Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh, just humid, thick like mud. And while I was pissing away the time, Diane was...
Did you bring your phone with you or any other electronics?
No. I kind of stormed off, didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me.
With optics down, traffic and street-level cameras won't help him. That leaves... Did you go through a checkpoint or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit?
No, not even a vending machine.
Not even a damn vending machine, huh? May have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate.
I just wanted quiet at the time. Wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details quite right. My head is... But if my exact route would help, the cam's probably... What? What is it? Optics was what? Can that even happen?
And there's no other proof that you were out at the time Diane was killed, meaning you've got no alibi.
This can't be. Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't.
Carlos, I'm the one person you don't have to try and convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we've got to work with.
Right.
Now, you said you left to clear your head, so what made you come back?
I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. Didn't even know what it was. But it was loud, and it scared me. And it came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first, but at some point I must have started running because when I got back, I was so out of breath. And when I saw that the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't.
You live on the first floor, right?
Yeah, first floor apartment, street-facing entrance. We were proud of that when we first moved in. Like it was some kind of big deal. From the hallway, I saw her, but I didn't realize. I never thought that she was... The lights were off. The whole room was a mess. I thought we had been robbed, or she had fallen, or... There was broken glass, furniture knocked over. And she was... I called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse and she was still warm. Her blood was warm. And I saw...
The gun.
It looked so heavy, but I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real.
Is that why you picked it up?
What? Pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it!
Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies, bad lies especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie, but it can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive, and none of this works if he doesn't trust me.
Stay up to date on the details of evidence by checking your phone. If your clients notice that you don't know what you're talking about, they'll stop giving you any credit.
No! I need those!
So, Carlos, when was she poisoned? What?
What?
You did touch the gun, Carlos. That's just a fact, because it's a fact that your fingerprints are on that gun.
What? But I didn't do this. I didn't... I wasn't thinking. I was just...
Carlos, all I'm saying is that you picked it up. That's all.
Would you believe me if I said I didn't realize it was a gun?
Well, that explains how his prints got on the gun. But not in a way that would satisfy the police. Still, if all he did was hold the gun...
So stupid. I know what a gun looks like. But seeing it in my own home, right in front of...
You are in shock, Carlos. You still are.
The police came in sometime after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast, it seemed like. The rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect.
Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying that you two never had a physical fight.
What? Physical? We never fought. We never fought like that. Did the police say we did that?
They assumed as much, which means they also assumed the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos has told me, What else did they assume?
What is it?
I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene.
Oh,
It's an AR module built from data taken as the police entered, so...
right. It's just that.
It's just data, Carlos. No grisly details.
Okay. Well, let me see it.
Take your time.
All right. I think I've got it.
That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place.
All right.
I'll take notes. You just say whatever comes to mind.
I don't remember exactly where everything was. But, well, the mirror was upright, of course. And that clock was still on the wall. The chair got knocked over at some point. The bed got tossed, the cushions torn, and the urn fell. Other than that... No, sorry. That's all that stands out to me.
I see. Like so. What's wrong? Something out of place?
Dog
Carlos,
shit.
you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up.
It's just, I guess I just assumed your notes would be making edits to the AR?
Well, I suppose that works too.
Yeah, this chick rules.
Look at my Blues Clue drawing.
Sorry, I didn't mean... I think your drawing was pretty good, considering.
I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos.
Right.
Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk.
Letter? What do you mean?
I mean this letter here. Do you recognize it? Because the police are calling it a confession.
A confession? But this is just a note to self.
Pardon?
Look, when we fight, I lose my temper, say things I don't mean to. So this morning, I tried writing things down, so I'd have a script to stick to. So I could apologize to her instead of just fighting with her.
Carlos, you say in the note that you hurt them?
That's... I broke her fidget tubbies.
Her what? Her what?
Her fidget tubbies. They're
Oh.
these collectible ceramic character things. They're supposed to be like tactile. Use them as paperweights or conversation starters.
Fucking monster.
Conversation starters?
She loved those little things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. And I broke them. I mean, I was pissy at the time, but with a goddamn piece of shit rent alarm, I hardly know where I'm swinging it half the time. I got so angry, I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room. That cheap, dusty, worthless.
Okay, let's say he did break her frigid duckies with his replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But if the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the heartbreak killings anyway...
Couldn't even bother to sweep them up. I felt so...
All right, Carlos. Thanks for answering my questions. Now, I'm going to call the police back in here, and I'm going to get this cleared up for you.
What? That's it?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Although before I do that, I do have to ask, what do you know about the Heartbreak Killer?
Heartbreak? You mean that psycho that was trending all month? I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. I haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everybody's on edge. A guy like that out there, he shoots people to the heart, right?
The police have kept the victim's appearances far away from any upstanding news sources. So, unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't notice any resemblance to his girlfriend.
I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that's just... That doesn't mean anything, does it?
If he's this slow on the uptake, it's gonna be a real shock when those officers walk in here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory as quickly and definitively as possible.
I didn't realize you could smoke in here.
Technically, I can smoke wherever I want. For a fee.
I guess so.
Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's working on the clock.
Right. I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this.
No, of course not. It will be my first homicide defense, though.
Oh.
Why does everyone always think the first time's so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up. I've got relevant experience in other areas.
Oh. And, what areas are those?
You ever gamble, Carlos?
No, ma'am. I never go anywhere near loot boxes. Won't touch the stuff.
I meant more like playing cards.
God, you're old.
Oh, well then, no to that too. I've actually got pretty terrible luck.
Oh, could have fooled me. Well,
Aw.
what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you can still win. Which makes things pretty fun.
Okay, so, do you have a good poker face?
I like to think so.
And are you lucky?
Only when the stakes are high.
And, in this metaphor, we're playing poker. And the state's the dealer?
Oh, if only. No, the state's more like... the house.
You mean like the house always wins?
Yes. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and we're down here. That's why they're the house.
So, what do we do?
We play the cards we're dealt as best as we can. Win more hands than we lose. Keep it up, and eventually someone will come over and tap the dealer on the shoulder and whisper something in their ear, and then we'll be politely asked to leave.
That doesn't sound very triumphant.
The house always wins. So our definition of victory is more like, don't lose.
Thanks, Morgan. But I guess I was more asking, like, what should I say?
Just leave all the talking to me.
So that's the strategy. What's up?
You know there's a saying about gamblers with strategies?
Yo, ready to confess yet? So I already woke up the DA.
Already? She must be new. The district attorneys have final say on whether or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair, since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simple, guilty pleas over long, protracted trials. And they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then you'll have to call them back, because my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here.
Right. What she said.
You've got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generations, I guess. Before my time kind of thing.
I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective.
Counselor, we have your client's written confession.
His written confession. Let's start there.
Okay,
We'll be happy to.
The thrust of every argument starts with the facts, what's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table.
It's pretty simple, counselor. A real paint-by-numbers stuff. See, we found a note in his apartment with his fingerprints on it, apologizing for how he hurt them all so bad. Now, how are you planning on spinning that?
Those are the facts. But I've been building up my hand all night, and now I've got the weapons to answer anything they try and throw at me.
Well...
My client did write that note, and it was an apology. But not for murder. He was apologizing for...
Analyze the facts as they're laid out, then thumb through the responses in your hand. Drag and drop the card that best answers the argument on the right. You can mouse over your opponent for a reminder on what the key point is.
So this is your basic Ace Attorney testimony kind of thing, but greatly streamlined down to a single point of contention, which is whatever it shows up here, and a very small subset. If you look at the evidence, we have many things. And so this is...
Oh, that's nice.
This clarifies what every individual thing, what information each of these comprise, but they only give you a small subset of cards at once.
Yeah, the ceramic
crap?
Yeah, the ceramic crap, which is their fidget tubbies, bro.
He was simply apologizing for this.
The hell is that?
I found myself asking that exact same question.
What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene?
This diagram of the room, it's created from data you captured, right?
Pure, non-GMO, augmented reality crime scene data, yeah.
What's non-GMO?
Not much these days.
Notice anything out of place?
Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's the scene of a murder.
Full of busted shit, for sure. But I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found on the western side of the room.
The hell is that?
Ceramic debris, huh? Must be from the vase that was tossed.
Actually, that's not possible.
Oh?
Because that vase...
wasn't damaged.
It's not possible for that debris to have come from the vase, because that vase is still pristine.
How is that?
How is that possible? The lady at the garage sale told me it was so old and delicate. Damn it. One time I try and thrift shop on my own.
Well, so what? What does it even matter?
If the vase doesn't have a scratch on it...
Then the debris must have come from somewhere else. That debris is what my client wrote that apology over.
You're saying that confession was his apology for not vacuuming?
I am. Because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collection of fidget
tubbies.
What he said. Mr. Flat broke the video. Your girlfriend is dead. Ha ha hoo hee.
That's the music that plays when I get a new treat.
Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident. And this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out an apology.
Can you prove that?
We're taking this seriously?
As much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement that my client wrote that note. And we can all plainly see that there's ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now, since it couldn't have come from the vase, it must have come from the collectibles. Simple, right?
The hell you on about? The entire room was trashed, as the arcs clearly show. Those fidget tubbies must have been pulverized during the struggle, too. You really gonna claim he sat down and write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down?
Not a bad train of thought, but I can do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that, and there's proof. Boom, boom, boom.
Because he hucked the arm. He lobbed the arm.
He lobbed the arm. If we check this. That's his normal one. He's got, we're looking for Flats rental, yeah. Discarded it in frustration after smashing into the victuals collectibles and haven't worn it since.
The Fidget Tubby Slayer.
Just take a closer look at that rental you took into custody.
Huh?
One swipe of your finger should show exactly how devastating it was to the Fickle Buddy ecosystem.
It's Fidget Tubbies.
Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your techs found ceramic debris on it, yes?
Now that you mention it.
Fine, whatever. He broke them with his arm. While he was killing her. Happy?
Overjoyed. Because
even a cheap arm's got an operating system that had logged the last time it was worn, right?
Right.
See, I happened to spot a footnote in the lab report. Said that rental hadn't been used since the AM.
Whose side are you on, old man?
It's gotten pretty late, Sunshine. Well, it's early. Just trying to save us all some time where I can.
Well, thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for your service. Are you seriously buying this crap? Just look at how scrawled, how panicked that note is. You expect me to believe he was that upset over Fidget Tubby collection? One that hasn't even been graded?
Setting aside Detective Reyes's surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles, you're correct. They held no real monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over their loss. But so what?
So what?
After all, that's not panic you're seeing on that page. No, the only reason that note looks the way it does is because Carlos
is right-handed, baby. Yes, I am. Did they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something?
So the reason why the note looks like an asylum wall scribble
is just because he had to use his left hand to write it.
I tend to think better writing than typing. And I need to get used to using my left anyway. I just thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account, alongside the ceramics...
Your slam dunk confession's looking about as watertight as a fishnet.
Okay, fine, forget about the confession. Congratulations, counselor. You've established that your client's remorseless. Now let's get back to the reality of the situation. Here are the facts. We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covered in your victim's blood, right next to a big old damn gun. That was just so happened to have his fingerprints on it.
That's right. That coat is...
What, are you gonna claim it's not his? That he actually wears an extra small?
She's trying to bait me. In her typical low-key fashion.
As the arguments flow, you won't always have the stronger hand.
Ooh.
Sometimes the best thing you can do is hold your tongue and avoid overcommitting. Take as little damage as possible and wait for a more favorable chance.
She must have something. No sense playing into it. Something you'd like to ask me, Detective?
I'm just curious. What'll it be next? You gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small?
Gee, Carlos, do you?
No.
Yeah. Sure there's no evil twin you've forgotten to mention?
My extra small evil twin.
No, I'm afraid not.
Not even gonna go for a mysterious third party at the scene of the crime.
To prove his innocence, I will need to get there eventually. But going there now without hard evidence... I have no evidence of a third person at this time.
Damn right you don't. It's clear as day in the arcs. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. So keep dreaming.
It was obvious she had something there. Wasn't gonna win that hand either way. But at least I didn't overstep and take any more damage than I had to. We're not contesting any of that, Detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in confusion after coming home to find a brutal crime scene, which was not smart.
Hey.
But not illegal either.
And that's all? He had her blood all over his clothes.
Yes, he did.
Right.
Do you have those clothes on hand, by the way?
The lab finished with him a while ago.
What are you getting at?
It'll be easier to just show you. Do you mind getting them for me?
You know what? Sure, I could use the fresh air. Stinks of bullshit in here anyways.
And here I thought the room smelled like... Psst, Morgan! What are you doing? My coat's covered in her blood. I remember that much. So does that, like, make me look really bad?
Just relax, Carlos.
I'm pretty sure that's impossible.
You're innocent. And that means that having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you.
Really?
Really. Not really. Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck. Or bad lawyers. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing.
What was it that reminded me of?
All right, here it is. One bloodstained jacket fresh from the lab. Cool jacket.
Cool jacket.
So, what's your angle? You gonna tell us this is actually just hot sauce?
No, that would be silly.
She actually thought it over.
So what the hell's your point? Hey,
Sorry, I just got thrown off by the turn of good fortune.
what good fortune?
You should thank the detective for bringing you your jacket, Carlos. She's just proven your innocence. My client was arrested wearing this coat. He would have been wearing it at the time of the murder. It has the victim's blood on it, who we know died when she was shot in the heart. By a gun that happens to be an old-world, pre-tagging firearm. And so this coat proves he couldn't have been the shooter.
Is there a gas leak in here? In what world does that actually make any sense?
Sense happens to be key here. I just need to draw their attention to what they can
So,
see, feel, or smell. What do you think, gentlemen?
No.
I'm thinking what they can see, maybe, because how could the blood get on the jacket if it was just shot to the heart? Maybe? Or, like, I don't know. Because, like, can we look at the jacket's, like, information?
Sure.
Yeah, like, what's so special about this jacket?
What's so great about it?
What's so good about it?
Let's
Oh, shit, it's from Cyberpunk
Plaid's coat.
Edgerunners.
Coat the suspect was wearing when he's taken into custody back from analysis. Blood on the sleeve matches that of the victims with 99 point, certainty. No other details other than forensic significance found. So we see blood on the left hand, right?
Yeah. Which would make sense because he's
Yeah,
left-handed at this time.
Yeah, and it had fingerprints, so it'd have to be used by a real hand. So, So like I'm saying C, but I'm not sure if that's right. So what can you feel on the coat? What can you smell on the coat? There's no hint on what it smells like or what it like,
Well, I suppose we can take no other details of any forensic significance found to mean it doesn't feel or smell or see anything, like there's anything except the blood.
Yeah. God. Okay, what's the right answer, Arim?
It's
Smell.
stink.
Just do me one favor, detective. Tell me what you smell.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or don't.
I don't smell any. Yeah, fuck you. I don't smell anything except dried blood.
Exactly. The coat smells like blood, but it doesn't smell of...
Cigarette. That's what I've been smelling.
Yes, Detective London, I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation?
I've been listening. You wanted me to smell the jacket?
If you would.
Let's see. Sniff, sniff.
Sniff.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
No gunpowder.
What? What about gunpowder?
Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time.
You can't be more than a few years older than me.
But not before your partners, it seems. See, gunpowder's weak by today's standards, but it's still volatile stuff. Hard to store, prone to misfiring, and when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence.
Yeah. The hell is she talking about, London?
Modern firearms, like the ones we carry, use electricity, magnetism, even air pressure or sound waves. They've got more accuracy, more firepower, less recoil, less noise. And they don't leave behind any residue.
Gunpowder residue.
You talked my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't leave digital traces. But a revolver like this one? It'd leave gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days.
So then his coat.
If you don't trust your noses, you can check the lab reports. I think if they had found any gunpowder on my client or his clothes, they'd have taken the time to highlight it.
Yeah. Well, whatever. That just means he washed off after shooting her or changed his clothes.
It's not impossible, but it would be pretty pointless.
Huh?
His jacket and his left hand were blood-soaked when your officers found him. Would he really go through all the effort to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue just to get the victim's blood all over himself afterwards?
Idiots.
In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges Mr. Flat is facing. As soon as possible.
Whoa.
They're faltering now. Should topple over at any moment. The letter was mostly icing on the cake for them, but that gun is all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings. So if it looks like he never actually fired the gun, I'll admit things were a little dicey there at times. But once I was able to grasp the situation, the smaller pieces fell into place easily enough. Not my cleanest work by far, but overall I'd say, did she get a message? They've updated the autopsy report.
Yeah. Wait. Did they actually manage to find it?
Something you'd like to share, Detective Reyes?
You're good. Twisting the truth into knots, making the facts work for you.
Thanks.
But your luck just ran out. Because the net scrubbers found a cam activity at the exact moment of the shooting. And right now, I'm staring at a photo of the killer.
Wanna bet? A photo of the shooter. If she had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's just pulling this out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers.
I mean, I feel like we need more info, yeah.
I'm not sure I follow, Detective. Didn't we establish that there was an optics blackout during the shooting?
Sure there was. But this isn't from optics.
Good thing I held my tongue. As I thought, the scrubbers must have managed to dig up something from outside the network. Which means...
Party's over, counselor. Feast your eyes on this.
Wow.
You got 2 arms, baby.
The quality is lacking. And yet there it is. They managed to find a quarter needle of evidence in a whole city block of haystacks. Not the goddamn chances. No, with the scale their tools operate on, I guess the chances are, as always, in their favor. Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from the worst case scenario I envisioned. You could even say I got lucky. Which means the stakes are...
Well,
Well, it's a little bit...
Blurry.
Don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like at the time of the shooting, neighbor was on their phone.
Probably venting about how crazy the couple across the way were acting. But, if their phone was on, its camera would be on.
So we managed to get this shot through the window.
Where to begin? Far away, unfocused, ultra-low resolution, zoomed in, blurred, color shifted, and so compressed it looks like it's from another century.
There are tools that could enhance
This image any further, and I could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss its admissibility in court goodbye. You can't honestly claim that you can identify my client from this image. And there's no way in hell you could get this past a judge.
Yeah, you're probably right. We couldn't. But, I think I know a DA that could. Either way, it doesn't seem like your client's leaving this police station anytime soon. That photo. What the hell is happening to me?
I think I know a DA that could. Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of a left-handed shooter standing in a hallway at the same time the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. And who do we know had their left hand fingerprints all over that gun?
You're referring to my client.
You think? We've established he was wearing his modded arm at all. We've established he wasn't wearing his modded arm at all tonight. So he must have shot with his left hand.
Yes, and we've also established that he's weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever.
Forensics will never be perfect, counselor. Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get where you're going, you somehow end up dry. But that doesn't mean it didn't rain. All of which is to say, before judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test.
Carlos is innocent. I know he is. But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent. That photo is real. If both are true, then that means that photo doesn't show what it appears to show.
So? At a loss for words?
Never! I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly?
Exactly. Positional data is usually only accurate to the nearest public router. If we DN on the phone's owner and ask them where...
People in chat have brought this up. There seems to be an obvious, like, doesn't that show a person with two arms? I imagine if Carlos was wearing his jacket, there would be a jacket arm dangling there anyway, even if there was no arm in it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that was my immediate thought too. I was like, I got two arms, but yeah, no, sleeve.
Why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tells us that the perp shot from the room's doorway.
And you can see this, that this is hanging perfectly limp, so it could just as easily be an empty sleeve as an actual arm.
Yeah.
From the front entrance of the apartment faces to the south, there's a hallway that runs back to the bedroom. We're looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious it was taken from across the north window.
We got a little map.
Oh,
meow.
Little treat.
Little tweet.
Oh, hey, it's a compass rose that... I know it's because the whole thing is slightly at an angle, but anytime I see a compass rose that's at a slight angle, I always think of the Death House map.
Right, where they had south going east.
Yeah, where
yeah.
the compass directions were not oriented this way and weren't even on cardinals. It was fucking insanity.
Right, oh my god.
But yeah, so this is the door here, or you can't see my cursor,
Yeah.
but door in the bottom right, window at the middle left.
Yeah.
From the north. If this is from the north, then why can we clearly see the...
It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got the shot must live on the other side of the street.
So we're looking into the bedroom from the north window.
Or it's the victim's phone.
If she's wrong, I should seize on the opportunity to start turning the tide.
I mean, I think I know what is happening, right? But, like, do we have the evidence to prove it? Because what I think it is, it's from the other window on the west, but it's using the mirror to reflect the person. So it's not actually a left arm, it's his right arm.
Oh, look at you.
That was cut off, and someone's using his right arm to shoot the lady to have the fingerprints or also, or, you know, it's,
Yeah.
but yeah,
that
but I'm not
case-
sure. Yeah.
I'm afraid that's simply not possible, Detective. This photo has to have been taken from the west.
What kind of bluff is that supposed to be?
The good detectives are misinformed here, and I need to take advantage of it. Time to press the initiative.
The hell do you mean this was taken from the west?
The autopsy tells us the victim was shot from the doorway. Your officer's ARCS data tells us the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now your photo, has shown us the exact moment of the shooting.
And you can now raise the ante on a hand up to the current max.
Oh, Jesus.
Answer wrong and you'll lose more credit, but answer correctly. And you can bank up more credit for trickier hands down the line.
Oh, this is neat.
Yeah.
And altogether, that tells us that this photo must have been taken through the west window. As long as you consider
The
something.
mirror.
Bum. Let's
Yeah.
see. I think we want,
The mirror was upright. Yeah.
Just take one look at the clock in that photo.
The clock? What about it?
The clock, huh?
Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I could pounce on it to keep my tempo high.
This photo was taken right before the shooting, so... Wait. Don't tell me the time of death is wrong.
Probably Ray's, right? Because we... Yeah.
That's a good question, Detective London. But the answer's no. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agree. The time of death was 9 p.m.
Right, no mistaking that.
So then, what the hell are you on about?
There's a clock on the wall in this photo, analog style. And it reads 9 o'clock.
9 p.m., the time of the shooting. The hell's so special about that?
Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time the clock reads. But do you remember there being a clock in the room?
What?
Actually, I don't recall there being a clock.
That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock, because when the police secured the scene, the clock had already been knocked onto the floor.
And?
The only clock in that room is in the northeastern corner, and my client has informed me that before the crime, it was hung up on the eastern wall. Like so.
What the hell is that supposed to be?
An artistic rendition.
It's, very distinct.
If you had information on how the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add that to the arcs?
Can show you my hand. Just because discovery law compels us to share info, doesn't mean we have to play fair, Detective. Slip my mind! Oops. The important thing is, if that clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting occurred...
Then this photo must be looking through the western window to see it.
Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m., the same time that this photo was taken of the shooter. But you want to claim that the clock's still on the eastern wall when it would have been knocked down during the fighting?
You got your logic backwards, Detective. Your precious photo shows that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And there's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the cards fell.
Room was pristine. Time of the shooting. So, cheap durable ceramic, not even scratched. Murder weapon linked to 5 other crimes. Flat fingerprints, nah.
From mirror broken at the crime scene, shards fell on the victim. Yeah, the shards fell on the victim.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Glass shards, what about them?
Nothing much, really. Only that they're on top of the victim's body and not under it.
If the glass fell on top of the victim's body, that would mean
that she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed.
But that
doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterwards?
It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's the detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of a struggle at the other crime scenes?
Other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been over a matter of seconds.
So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom?
That this was personal and things have gotten complicated. Shit happens.
Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seems there's been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened.
So what if the room didn't get tossed over until afterwards? He still shot her. And we have a photo right here.
And I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocence.
Huh?
Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult. And maybe more importantly for all of us, time-consuming. Thanks to your photo, I can instead prove that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger because the man in that photo can't possibly be Carlos.
Like hell it can't.
The glass shards prove that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And we know that until the room was tossed, that clock was on the eastern wall, which means that this photo of the shooter was taken from the west.
Back to this shit, that's impossible. The only hallway in the apartment runs from north to south. The only person with prints on the gun is your client. And the only fact that matters is that he used it to murder 6 innocent people.
You're a very honest person, detective.
Excuse me?
That's why you're such a shitty gambler. You've played your cards too early. And now I can steal the pot right out from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at the hallway in that photo.
What?
What we're seeing is...
the mirror!
It's finally here!
It's finally here! Mirroring for you!
It's finally here.
What is that? You're trying the glass shards again?
Sort of. By the way, do you recall where those glass shards came from?
Yeah, sure. They came from
From a standing mirror. A mirror that, at the time of the shooting, stood across the room from the western window.
Then that would mean...
At that angle, from that viewpoint.
It would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. And as we all know, my client hasn't had a working right arm in a number of weeks, and he hasn't worn his rental since this morning. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad that it was recovered, because it just proved that my client couldn't possibly have committed this crime. That should be the end of it.
I'm getting a call.
Except, it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Sunk cost has got its teeth in her now, clawing up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms kind of fever. The impotent, irrational fury of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. But lucky for you, Detective, I'm well-versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes.
That's one word for it.
Then allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. My client's so-called confession was just a note to self. The police found him in shock, reeling at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with these facts, you received photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting, and instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, you tried to claim it depicted my client, a man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway.
That's... He could have had a backup arm. He could have stolen one.
A little stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. It's getting late. Time to bare my fangs a bit.
Just shoots her.
That's the best you've got? Even a bare-bones prosthetic off the black market needs to be attuned to an individual's nervous system. He'd have to bring it to a clinic, which would have left a record on his shoulder OS. A record you won't find. And he'd still have to somehow have gotten rid of it before the police arrived. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for full spectrum scanning of the entire building and 100 meters around it. Minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, did he manage to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones in the time between the shooting and his arrest?
Ugh.
Well. Any objections? Detective?
God damn it!
London just looks over. Sorry, I zoned for a minute.
Yeah,
Did
what were we
figure
talking
out? Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me? In light of the evidence, we have no reason to hold you.
Now I gotta call the DA and tell her I made a mistake.
Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know.
Detective?
Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney's a real tiger, and she just fought like hell for you. Make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah.
That's kind of you to say, Detective. But my work is its own reward.
Sure. I feel exactly the same, counselor. What happens now?
I'll have to speak with the DA about the dismissal. And there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats! You get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact.
Yay? But what am I supposed to do?
The detectives will continue their investigation.
Their investigation into heartbreak, huh?
Yes. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she'll be handed over to the next of kin, and then you can make funeral arrangements.
No, that's not what I... Diane being gone is bad enough. But a serial killer? It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore.
People die of the flu all the time, but... I know what you mean.
I can't make sense of it. So, what am I supposed to do?
Hell if I know. There are some contacts I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors.
No, you've done more than enough for me. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself, to try and convince them that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you.
You're welcome, Carlos, but it's my job to...
No, I mean, thank you for not asking. for not asking if I killed her.
Oh, Carlos. I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course he was. After all... The blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place, easy to find, hard to miss. But the blood's always different. A flowering stain unfurling towards an invisible sun. A perfectly unique bloom. Only one for each of us. A Rorschach test with singular, universal meaning. Vitality, its climax. Bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of an infinite... the end. But the comical thud of a body hitting the floor has its own kind of lowbrow appeal. Bullet number 6 of 6. The gun's empty. It's useless to me now, may as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but whatever. Finding the ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I could sell an untagged gun for a fair bit of cash, but cash can't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised. Lady. Moping around in the dark in here. Must have only been able to see my silhouette. Did she think I was her boyfriend back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now. These old pieces are so goddamn loud. People aren't even familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way. Probably roused half the neighborhood. But I didn't see anything I could use as even a partial suppressor on the way in. Could they really not afford some throw pillows? I used the other 5 bullets in outdoor spaces, in small spheres of blind opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped places, usually full of trash. But this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean, organized even. So the corpse adds a certain satisfying contrast. Except... there's shit on the floor. By the window, there are broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. It's just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. I kick over the stupid goddamn mirror. 5 perfect crime scenes, each of them not a speck of evidence. Nothing to go on, and for the final shot, there just has to be some pile of shit in the corner ruining everything. I kick the wall. Something falls from it, probably more tasteless bullshit. I toss over the chair, knock the urn, tear into the sheets with my frustration and try and savor the shredding. If it can't be clean, I'll just have to lean into the messy angle. At least it'll be consistent. This was also stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yes. But so what? I'm not made of stone. After that, I did start to actively aim for the heart, but... Heartbreak killer. Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless voyeurs would obsess over something that's none of their business? All of the threads and breakdowns and the goddamn theory crafting, and all for the heartbreak killer. Sounds like a soap opera villain from a season where the writers were on strike. I'd feel insulted by the label, but no, that's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They marketed it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. He's just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shot 6 people because... Well, I'm sure people will come up with something. That he got rejected one too many times, or whatever. Me, I killed those people because I saw them and I wanted to. And I've killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room's thoroughly trashed now. If I had just walked away after seeing that mess by the window, it would have irritated me to no end. Now that it doesn't match the MO of the last 5 perfectly, it'll irritate the cops to no end instead. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoy your 15 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. The air's weighty tonight. Thick. Energized. A heavily foreshadowed summer rain I can feel on every hair. They call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin, like in those short moments just after the shower turns off when the steam lingers. Yeah, it's always most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that. But I know I've never felt guilty about any of this. And I walk.
Sorry, using my left is still...
That's okay, you can just initial in those spots. I took a scenic route home, courtesy of our fine city's sprawling public transportation, and got in a bit after 11 p.m. Had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk, did some stretching, made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. At around 1:40 a.m., a posting for public defender work came up. Decent rate since it was so late and so urgent. I had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have enough sense to ask for a lawyer and enough debt that he'd need to be provided one. All I had to do was stay awake. Wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning.
Okay, where else?
Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job where I already knew more than the cops? It would have been easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gotten paid the same too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was, of course, innocent, so his conviction would never be airtight. There would be doubts, questions, appeals, maybe even fans depending on his looks. More attention on HK and his crimes, more headaches. A cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to one open and shut case. Now, with no more murders matching HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find a culprit. Now, Heartbreak can just starve to death. Out of sight and mind like any other fluke in the system. Almost done. Getting involved with the case this intimately does have its risks. Hell, I might have even overdone things here or there, like lighting up a smoke inside an interrogation room, just to make doubly sure I didn't still smell of gunpowder myself. That London fellow seemed more fixated on it than I would have liked. But obviously everything turned out rosy. And it's worth it for the finality of it all. Seeing the authorities' failings from the best seat in the house, that's just a bonus.
Thanks again, Morgan, for everything. I'm sure Diane is grateful too.
Funny, I didn't even know her name. Something the matter?
No, sorry, it's just... I was mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too. So, when she died...
Death was instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine that she was in any pain. In fact, I can guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground.
No, I know, but I just keep thinking that she must have died angry at me. That she must have died hating me.
Is that evidence? Oh.
To tell you the truth, Carlos, there's something I've been wondering about myself.
What is it?
Something I noticed in the ARC's data that I didn't quite understand. A piece of the puzzle I couldn't fit in anywhere else. But maybe you can make sense of it.
Okay.
What is... Where did you find that?
That pill organizer was found on the victim. She had it grasped in her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added it to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. Seems like it contained triprexazone, prescribed to help modders with phantom itches. They're small tablets, and those are tricky clasps, too, for a pill organizer. Could be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one will ever know what she was feeling when she died. Even if they did, feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. But as far as facts are concerned, it would appear that when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medications for the week. To my eyes, anyway. Long night. That was too far just now. Practically rubbing it in his face. It's not like I care about his feelings. I doubt I'll ever see him again. But overstepping like that is pure hubris. And hubris invites a downfall. So why? Why did I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. I'll just need to show more restraint next time. Though there won't be a next time for heartbreak. The gun's in custody. There's no more bullets left. There won't be a seventh victim. There won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to their next obsession. I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will ever... This can be anyone. Aloha. What you had less.
I'll take it. Found you.
Oh, this is a different character.
Yeah.
Oh. District Attorney Rockford.
Oh boy.
Sorry, can I try that again? I'm so fried.
By all means.
Ugh. Counselor Morgan, morning, noon, or night, you're always so put together.
Thank you.
I don't get it. How do you sleep at night?
Pardon?
You do white noise, aromatherapy? Whatever you're doing, I need to steal it. God. I must have bags under my eyes dark enough for the dumpsters.
Assistant District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's a prosecutor, the lawyer who argues for the state in court trying to prove a defendant's guilt. And despite her sometimes unkempt appearance, she's probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. I should know, since I haven't beaten her once. Worse yet, she has the remarkable ability to compartmentalize all that adversarial energy and only bring it out in the courtroom. Part of what makes her good at her job, and hard for me to read.
Should I buy a new mattress?
What have they got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma?
Oh, well, actually, I'm here for you.
Me?
Your client was a suspect in the Heartbreak killings. That's my case.
Well, then you must have been relieved finding out that you won't have to go to trial against me.
No, Why would I ever be worried about going up against you?
It's always the unintended barbs with her. So you're working with those detectives?
Yeah, London and the new girl. Reyes? They've been reporting to me in preparation for trial.
Preparation for trial? That seems ambitious.
I guess they gave you the rundown. They've been doing everything they can, but it's hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little.
It's hard to kill while leaving so little behind. So, Reyes told you that they had HK in custody, and you popped out of bed all excited to run down here.
Hardly. I haven't slept in 40 hours. Too much on my mind. So when I heard the case with a single female victim shot through the heart, yeah, my ears perked up. But that's about all.
Oh?
I mean, Carlos Flat, a serial killer? Same serial killer that's outsmarted the state for weeks.
She's not using his middle name.
He was found with the murder weapon.
But I can answer that any number of ways. Yeah, whatever, you can pick whatever you want. That may be true, but...
But then I glanced at the report.
You glanced at it?
No gunpowder residue on him or his clothes.
Right.
Too remorseful, too apologetic in that note. Whatever it was about, his dominant arm modded. His dominant arm with documented sensitivity issues? Never could have made that shot with shots that clean. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Not to mention, he's too tall for the ballistic entries angles. And probably too heavy to not leave imprints.
She got all that from a glance.
But I'm sure a competent lawyer like yourself pointed all that out the minute you walked in here.
Of course. Worst part is she's not even being sarcastic.
Yeah, of course it couldn't have been him.
Hmm?
Long-term relationship, physically imposing, argumentative, so not the type to bottle things up. He didn't match the profile.
Profile?
Yeah, Right, sorry. You've probably never heard of it.
I know what a goddamn profile is.
A profile is a reconstruction of a criminal's physiology based on evidence from their crime.
I think it's actually their psychology.
Psychology?
What you
Well,
just
fuck
described
you.
as a photograph or model.
Kind of fallen out of fashion for the last few decades. Not much needed to guess about the why when 99 times out of the 100, the who is caught on camera.
Or before they even leave the house.
I've had to find some real fossils and oddballs to get advice on how to go about it, but I think I'm getting the hang of it.
So this profiling, it's some kind of investigative technique?
Theory is that a crime can tell you something about the nature of the person who's committed it. Stabbing overkill points to a passion, rage, lust. They probably knew their victim. Poison and guns, meanwhile, suggest they can't overpower their victims physically. And then there's the things you can assume about nearly all serial offenders. Childhood trauma, prior criminal records, few or no meaningful attachments. There's a lot of reoccurring themes in their stories.
The detectives say HK doesn't leave evidence. So how much can his crimes possibly tell you?
That he's diligent, almost perfect, highly intelligent, painstakingly organized, and with enough criminal connections to get his hands on an untagged firearm.
It's rare to see her this animated outside the courtroom. It's almost like she's enjoying herself. A sheltered house cat who's picked up the scent of a mouse for the first time.
A lone wolf, educated, but
All her playfully lethal instincts coming to life.
probably overqualified or undervalued.
Though I'm not thrilled about the fact that in that metaphor, I would be the...
Know what I mean?
Definitely.
And considering the marksmanship,
The detective said that HK would have needed insider information on optics. So does that mean heartbreaks in law enforcement?
never in 10 billion years.
Oh.
Antisocial, independent, despises authorities. That'd be like a stallion applying for a job on a merry-go-round. They'd be kicking kids in the head after the full first rotation.
Right, that's exactly how I'd put it.
There must have been some connection to the police, though. Maybe secondary or tertiary. These types can't help but insert themselves.
Insert themselves? I don't do anything even resembling that. Wait, if HK is not a cop, how did they know about the blackout timing?
Crime metastatistic analysis, probably.
Pardon?
Take the emergency response times from across the city and map them out. Look for brief spikes in delay. Chart out the dips in... Sorry. Technical, I know. But all the requisite data is publicly available. With a map, a spreadsheet, a calculator. Anyone who could reverse engineer the timing if they wanted to.
That is such an unpleasant thought, Emma. Well, at least this heartbreak maniac was slowed down now that he's lost his weapon.
He didn't lose it, he chose to leave it behind. That tells me he's confident he can do just fine without it. And it just makes me even more certain that these aren't his only kills.
Were there other shootings with the same MO?
No, not that I found.
Other victims that fit the description?
No. But I'm not overly focused on the victim's appearance anyways. I mean, these victims all look like each other, but they also look like a lot of people.
That's true.
Hell. They kind of look like me.
Do they?
Sure. What, you don't see it?
I hadn't thought about it.
Point is, no one can kill that cleanly when it's their first time. Getting things that perfect takes practice. So I know that HK must have had a lot more than 6 occasions to practice, Morgan. And that's why I think heartbreak is a misnomer.
You've got something catchier in mind?
I just don't think shooting them in the heart has any particular significance. If anything, it's a testament to their accuracy and their cold-blooded efficiency. The best possible use of 6 untagged bullets. 6 kills guaranteed, no matter what kind of life support mods they were packing. Their real signature isn't the bullets or the gun. It's the perfection.
That's hard to wrap your head around.
I'm saying that these 6 murders were just a fluke, a slip-up,
a mistake?
Exactly, a mistake. They got too clean, too efficient, and now they've got the public's attention. It's no wonder they're so pissed.
Are you talking about the crime scene?
Yeah, probably threw the detectives for a loop, right?
Based on what you've said, I don't blame them. Whoever trashed that room doesn't seem like the smooth operator you've been describing.
On the contrary.
I don't follow.
This was the last bullet, their last shot. The other 5 were perfect. So if anything was out of place this time around, they must have thrown one hell of a temper tantrum.
You make them sound like a child.
Childish, and cowardly, and two-faced. Someone who hates to lose almost as much as they love to win.
Your profile tell you all that?
No. That part's just... takes one to know one.
Real quick, because I don't remember, we're close to the very end and I don't want to miss this. We had that Heartbreak Killer profile from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So we've got our Morgan profile here, criminal defense attorney. We've got our Heartbreak Killer profile here now. Occupation, criminal, defense attorney.
Yeah. Nosy people.
Nosy people. So to summarize, you're looking for a cold-blooded, faceless, perfectionist killer who you think has no persistent MO or victim type.
in a city with an 8-digit population.
Well, good luck.
I don't need luck. I only need more information.
Well, I'm sure the city would be happy to provide you with more resources.
No, Morgan. I mean, I need more crime scenes.
Oh.
Sad truth is, if the Heartbreak walked away today, I'd never catch them. Only way my net narrows is if they keep piling up bodies.
Not a very fair trade, is it?
No, it isn't. But getting screwed over is a given. It's a deal with the devil.
Fair enough.
Woof. Okay, that rant was pretty morbid and detailed. I need to get more, or get out more, or more sleep.
I need to get more.
More.
Just in general.
Or sleep less, but harder. You think a higher thread count would help?
Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to listen to you ramble. It's a lot more pleasant than having to face you in the courtroom.
Sorry, but that's the adversarial process. So no hard feelings, yeah?
No hard feelings. We're both just doing what we do.
Huh?
I could use a cup of coffee. How about you?
Don't tempt me.
If you fall asleep face first onto the table, I won't even take a picture.
Okay. Just don't expect this to make a difference next time we're at each other's throats.
Heartbreak won't claim any more victims. In 2 weeks, the media will have moved on to the next sensation, and the police will have moved on to cases they actually stand a chance of closing. It's what people do. But Emma is different. She'll set it aside and work a dozen other cases, never bringing it up. But a private corner of that frustratingly sharp mind of hers will continue to whittle away at it. Never finishing, but never quitting either. So I can't afford to take my eyes off her. As long as that's the case, I may as well try to enjoy the view.
Yippee.
Yippee!
Yippee! Oh.
I think there's a preview for the next episode after this. We got green hair android. You gonna be living with my friend for a while. For how long? I'm sorry, I don't know. There's no need to look that upset over it. My face barely moved. It may as well have been a blatant pout from where I'm sitting. Yeah, like that. This friend of yours, they're trustworthy. Absolutely. In fact, I trust them more than anyone. Hey, come on, it'll be fun. Really? Really educational, too. I think you could stand to learn a lot from someone like Morgan.
Morgan.
No, don't. She's bad.
She's of the devil.
She's of the devil.
She's of the devil.
Of the devil demo looks at screen.
Oh.
She is of the devil.card.co.
Co. Yeah. So, chat, I know a lot of you enjoyed this game because a lot of you sit in to watch this great stream. If you want to help this game out, you'll find the link in the description and also pinned. Oh, fuck, there's more.
You're the smartest person I know, Morgan, when it comes to people. There's always been nut jobs that find the company's work controversial.
Lawyers don't usually show up at the crime scene this fast.
I said it would be a pain in the ass. I never said I couldn't do it.
The company's got us set for life and probably afterwards too.
Would rather die than play the kind of slop those machines compose. So that's just not just a lawyer job thing. You dress like a doorman on the weekends too.
Compared to determining fault, determining cause of death is like a breath of fresh air.
Bleh.
Bleh.
The company has every right to defend itself.
These laws exist for good reason, you know.
People like that just don't belong in this world.
Father said that you owed him.
I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it.
Because I'm of the devil.
Because I'm of the devil, episode 1.
And I don't mind.
Okay, so that I believe is the actual end of the game.
That's the actual end. So if you want to help out this game, what you can do is wishlist it on Steam. This really helps Steam show it to other people, because as you can see, this game is really fucking nice. I enjoyed it a lot. Just everything about it. Being a lawyer is a very... me saying that when Ace Attorney exists, I guess. But this feels like less Ace Attorney and more like Danganronpa and Spike Chunsoft like, right?
It's definitely that way in style, like, because they got, the very stylized, instead of everything is bullet themed, it's everything is gambling / poker themed. And like, as you saw, it was a lot easier than Ace Attorney because you only had a few things to grapple with at once, but given that this is the episode 0, I imagine this is the easiest it ever is gameplay wise.
Right.
Also, I want to drop something else in chat. At Of The Devil Game on Twitter if you want to follow for updates.
Yeah. They retweeted this stream.
I saw.
Yeah, Arim tweeted about it because he's better at everything than me, and then they retweeted it on the official Twitter account, which is nice. But yeah.
Ooh, I haven't looked at this actually.
Concept gallery. Oh.
How does that hair work? Ooh.
Look.
Oh, I have to say, ponytail down Morgan got me feeling a certain kind of way. As does regular Morgan, for that matter.
Making me feel of the devil.
Making me feel a little of the devil, if I'm being honest. Yeah, no, Morgan's definitely an Arim girl. She's an Arim girl before the reveal, and arguably even more so afterward.
Man, she's also a Will girl. Like I was pretty intrigued immediately.
Is there something you want to tell us, Arim?
Yeah, I guess I want a lithe, black-suited, red-haired mommy to step on me and then shoot me once in the heart, killing me instantly.
Clip it and ship it, chat. Thank you.
Got our boy.
Oh, I love him. He's gonna be something else. Like it's like they were holding back with his character a lot, and it's just like I can feel it, and it's just like later on he's gonna come in and just be like, yeah, actually I knew the whole fucking time. I was just, I don't want to get killed, so I'm just like, yeah, chilling.
He looks I feel like he looks a little younger here than in his in-game sprite, and in particular the left sketch is like almost like it's like Kasim London, but with swag.
The cooler
Kasim London.
In game, like the whole time I looked at Kasim, I'm like, you look like a horse that knows my secret.
You look like a horse that knows my secret. Yeah.
I like Reyes. It seems to me like obviously wait, does she have her own? Okay, yeah. So like obviously based on the dialogue, this is the lady you'd like hate Yuri ship with Morgan, but but a lot of people seem to really enjoy hate Yuri shipping Morgan and Reyes on Twitter.
Oh, sure.
Let's
squeeze some more of these guys together.
The squad.
I love this.
This poor motherfucker.
Yeah. This is the unlucky guy.
I hope he never appears again, just so that he got a clean getaway.
Oh, what if he's the next Larry Butts?
Oh, that would. Oh no, I hope not. He doesn't deserve
unlucky,
it.
Aren't you? I've seen a lot of people freak out over her on Twitter.
She's attractive.
Yeah, she's cute.
She's like 2 steps to the left and like 1 backward, but she's definitely also at least proximate Arim girl energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, the sketch for that animatic with her standing next to him.
Game's just a vibe, yeah. The door. Oh,
the doorway entry, yeah.
Yeah, the mirroring of that. Yeah, like.
Yeah, very cool.
So nice.
They are friends.
Talking to short people. Oh yeah, this is the killer.
The hypothetical heartbreak killer.
Your Conan bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what that's going to be about.
And this girl, I don't know, but from some of the previews they've posted, I think this girl is like maybe the defendant in the next case or your assistant, because she's standing next to Morgan in court.
So this is Will. If you take voice comms, how do I reach out? Do you have a price sheet or queue? Sorry for asking.
Oh, I apologize for asking. I kind of don't, just because I don't get requested it very often, so I don't even like have a price sheet or really any process for that sort of a thing. I can look into it. I know it's not a very useful answer.
I'm trying to figure out.
On the side, man.
I'm trying to figure out if I can go back to the main menu so we can end on that screen.
Is there
Store?
Oh,
these are the things you right. So we got credits for our completion of the quest, and we can spend those on alternative.
Get a fidget tubby charm.
Get a fidget tubby.
Yo, it's the fidget tubbies. I love how that one detective girl was just like, it's called a fidget tubby.
Excuse you, it's called a fucking fidget tubby.
Also, hold on, was that It's Morgan time?
Oh my god, was it? Hang on.
Yeah, no, you need to go back there right now.
Where? Morgues all over the place. I think in the shop, right?
It's in the shop. It was in the shop.
Morgan. I didn't even read what that said before. It's Morgan. Love it.
Oh, it costs 6.
Oh man,
we'll never get it.
Never get there.
In Of the Devil episode 1, we can see what It's Morgan time is.
Go to the official Of the Devil store. Buy the It's Morgan time charm.
They're teasing us.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, Arim, for streaming when I had tech difficulties. That was, I love how you were just like, yeah, I'm gonna stream it. And I was like, no, I can stream it. And then you were like, okay, that's fine. And then I did it and it fucked up. And I was like, yeah, well, I can't stream it.
I mean, it's beyond your control. Like, just dumb shit happens.
I don't know if, I hope whatever's the issue with your internet right now, I hope resolves itself. Maybe it is just a bandwidth thing. And when the month rolls over, they'll be nice to you again. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Sometimes internet poopy, sometimes. And I never have this issue on Twitch. I always have this issue on YouTube. So like, I don't know. Shrug. That's fine, YouTube. I love you though. Wink. Yeah.
Me.
So next stream will be August 7th, where Will is coming back again.
Hello.
Will and Austin are going to be playing Phantasy Star Online 1, which is a game we've played many a times together. So it's not like we're gonna be starting out fresh. You're gonna see some interesting gaming history. So yeah.
Oh yeah. You're gonna see that game like people are old. Why are you playing this game? And they're like, correction, Austin and I are old.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you all for coming out, and see you guys later.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
Have a good night, everyone. Of the Devil.